to Iron Suits, where strength wears the crown. This show isn't for the soft, it's for the forged. Men who command boardrooms and war rooms alike and carve out the six-pack that proves it. That's you. Welcome to the table. I'm your host, Marwan, your fitness coach to high-performing entrepreneurs and business leaders who want elite bodies without sacrificing business, family, or life. Guys, welcome back to the next episode. This one is going to be about how busy entrepreneurs get a six-pack without living in the gym. I'll get there eventually. Right, so most busy entrepreneurs think that getting a six-pack means living in the gym, skipping dinners, or obsessing over every calorie or eating out of a Tupperware. Guys, I actually want to tell you a funny story because this is something that I used to do back in the day. I used to be the guy with the chicken and broccoli sort of meal, every single meal, carrying it around with me wherever I go. And it was no restaurant, no nothing. Funny enough, when we were in Marbella the last couple of weeks, my son's actually also on a fat loss diet. Fat loss phase rather. His coach is giving him a meal plan, and like meal plans are very inflexible. Like that's sort of a video for another, a podcast episode or a video for another day. And by the way, I said video because I'm actually recording this to YouTube as well. So if you want to tune into YouTube and say hello, even better. So yeah, he's on a fat loss phase as well, and his coach has given him like a meal plan. And this is like so inflexible, like he's like, we're trying to get him to come out with us into restaurants and stuff. And he's like, oh no, he's sabotaging my results, you're this, you're that. And it's like, dude, there's like a better way than this. There's definitely a better way. He's like, no, my coach has given me this. He said that if you can be flexible if you want, but I recommend this. Okay, whatever. So when I'm working with my coach, all that is giving me is the target calories, and the rest is down to me because like life happens, guys. Like, I used to be the guy who missed birthday cakes, didn't go out to restaurants if they didn't have chicken, right? Chicken and broccoli. Anyone? Hello? I used to eat the burger without the bun, like that's going to make anything. The bun is probably like, I don't know, say 200 calories and the burger is like 700. Hello? Okay. Of which like it's not proper like 100% meat. It's probably like maybe 60-70% meat, and the meat's probably like I don't know, call it 60%, 40% fat maybe, not 60% fat, 40% fat, right? So that was silly, and like I realized there's a better way to do it. I was miserable. Now I eat whatever I want. It doesn't mean that It doesn't mean that I have a burger or I have chips every time, although I don't really eat chips anymore. I don't like it. Or I have pizza every time. Like I'll pick and choose when I want to have it. Right? The key is that you have freedom to choose whatever you want and eat whatever you want, rather than be sort of saying I can't. Right? Like, imagine your kids, if you tell somebody you can't do this, what happens? They're like, it's oppressive, it's tyrannical, right? And so you want to sort of, I can't find the right word. When somebody tells you can't, what's something in your brain? It's like, no, I can, I can. Right? Whereas if you say, I don't want, then it's your choice, right? It's a choice. So this is really how you want. It's like the main sort of teaching from this is to have a choice, to be able to have a choice to say yes or to say no. Okay? Here's a brutal truth, guys. If you think that having a six-pack means living in the gym, skipping dinners or obsessing over every calorie is the soft man's approach. It's unnecessary. You don't need to spend hours sweating for like visible abs. You need a system that works for life, not against it. And that sort of leads me back to the story with my eldest Antonio, who's on the fat loss phase. So his system completely falls over if he's gone out with family, right? Whereas me, I have structure now. I have a system, and I talked about in that previous episode how to, how to stay ripped whilst traveling, and that's exactly what I did. I'm actually leaner than when I first went out there a couple of weeks ago. Although the scale doesn't really reflect how much I've lost, just because for whatever reason, maybe the temperature, maybe the food is completely different. Like the body is very very strange. But like taking pictures every day, I can see the definition coming. And even my coach looked at the tables, were like, "Holy shit, your definition is definitely coming on." So hopefully another 2-3 weeks, and then it's sort of getting out of that fat loss phase. Okay, so anchor rule number 1 is non-negotiables in your day. Okay, so you gotta have lean protein every meal, because if you don't have lean protein, you're not going to feel full, and you're not going to be able to keep muscle on your body to stimulate your metabolism. And also protein is the most thermogenic macronutrient. So for every 30% of your calories, 30 to 40% of your calories get lost in digestion when you're eating protein. 40 is a bit on the high side, let's just say 30. And get lost in digestion, right? So like, 30% of 10 calories is, 7 calories get lost in digestion? Something like that. Is it 7? I don't know. I can't do maths at the moment. Oh, I can. Hold on. Let me try and work it out in my head. So 10% is, yeah. So 30% we're talking about 33. So it leaves you with 7 calories. What am I talking about? It leaves you with if it's 10 calories, it leaves you with 7 calories basically, which is pretty good, right? Which is pretty good. So that's sort of the bare minimum. Also keep the hunger at bay. So right now I'm in that fat loss phase. I'm about 170 pounds, something like that. My protein is 170 pounds, or maybe I'm 160 something. Hold on a second. Hey Siri, what's 72.25 in kilograms into pounds?
1 kilogram is 2.2 pounds.
Okay, hey Siri, what's 72.25 kilograms into pounds?
72.25 kilograms is 159.28 pounds.
Okay, so I'm 159. I'm 159. I'm 159 pounds, and I'm eating 76 grams of protein. All right. Okay, a minimum movement. You got to get your steps in. Without steps, you're never going to lose weight. You're never going to get to your target quick enough, because you're going to have to cut the calories so low that you're going to be miserable. So I'm doing something like 17,000 steps a day, 16, 17,000. 16 is my minimum. 17, 18, 19, 20 is like my high if I'm really like doing stuff that day, right? So you're going to get your steps in, because that's going to help you burn fat and also increase the deficit that you're in. And it's very easy to do, to get little movements in, right? So right now it's sort of like I'm working at home. I'm going to go out for a walk later on. I've just gone outside, walked up and down the garden. Got a couple of 100 steps, played with the dog. It's pretty good. So where are we? we've got the minimum movement. I would recommend a minimum of 12,000 steps. Probably 13,000 steps. You're going to feel so much better from 13,000 steps. You're going to sleep so much better, and your digestion is going to be so much better. You're going to feel less bloated, and also you're going to have less gas as well. Hydration, 1 liter per meal. So minimum a gallon of water a day, which is 3 point something. Or if you want 4, then 4. I'm drinking 6 liters a day. Because I'm eating so much fiber, I find that this is optimal for me. So 6 liters a day, and use sparkling water. Don't use normal water because it doesn't hydrate you and doesn't keep you full either. And you're just going to keep pissing out you're just going to keep pissing out the water basically, because your body is not used to it, right? And it doesn't really hydrate you. Like I said, it doesn't have sort of the minerals to hydrate you. Okay, another buffer. What we've got a fat loss buffer tip, and that's keeping your fat lower during the day so that you got more flexibility in your evening meals, right? So think about it this way: it's a bit like your budget. Like you blow your budget early, and what happens is if you blow your budget early, and then you're in debt, which will be your overdraft. You have to get an overdraft, or you have to get a loan, or whatever. So with your calories, if you blow it too early, what happens is you're going to be going into debt, which means spilling over to your fat source, right? So you're going to go over your calorie budget for the day. So something's got to give. Then the next day or over the week, you've either got to make it up by moving a bit more or cutting down your calories a bit more. And in another episode, video, I'll teach you guys how to do this. So you can set up your macros over the week rather than obsessing over one day. Where if you go one day over, a few calories over, it's like the end of the day, right? This is something I used to do as well, which is crazy shit, right? It's not what you want to do. Okay, next point, where are we? So you want to track your calories without obsession, which is exactly what I said earlier. You want to be accurate, but you don't want to be an anorak, if that's the right word. So let's take for example blueberries. What the fuck, man? Blueberries are very low in calories. If you go 2 grams or 3 grams or 10 grams over your calories on the blueberries, it's alright. It's no big deal. Only to put your hands into the if you put it into yogurt, I'll put it into my yogurt. If you put it in your yogurt, right, and then you take it out, it's got to be 150 or whatever. Right, you don't need to obsess about that. Yeah, record it and be mindful, but you don't need to obsess. It's so low in calories, you don't even need to worry about it. Okay, what we got here? So you want to track your calories accurately in the day, and then estimate as best as you can during the evening. So social meals, unless you're going out to the Cheesecake Factory where they give you their calories. And even then, it's not really that accurate. I mean, how the fuck is a chicken breast 1,000 calories in a Cheesecake Factory? I don't get it. I don't get it, right? And even then, for example, if you get a pizza from Domino's, even then it's very, what's the word? The portions are very, the portions vary, right? So maybe a portion would tell you a mighty meaty is 3,000 calories or whatever it is. But again, it depends on how many pepperonis they put in there, it depends on the amount of cheese they put in there, it depends on the amount of sauce, right? And these can vary by sort of 10%. I think, is it 10%? They got they can go under or over by 10%, I believe. So it's just a, what should we say? It's just a guide. Think about it. It's just a guide, right? So you want to keep fat. If you know that you've got a social occasion, you want to keep your fats low during the day, so then you can go out and have fun later. So we talked about that budget earlier. So your goal is not precision. The goal is control. Again, that's what I talked about in the previous episode. That you need to have control rather than precision. You're never going to be 100% right, like unless you, like, I don't know, friggin' take the scales with you and like a tape measure to a restaurant and see how many you're eating. But like you estimate. So when I go out to a restaurant, if I want to have a burger, I'll estimate how many calories a burger is going to be. It may be 700 calories, it may be 1,000, I don't know. But I leave like 1,000 calories to spare, right? I leave 1,000 calories, so then I know that, okay, if that's 1,000 calories, then I'm okay for 1,000 calories. If I've gone by 500 calories, if it's 500 calories, then, you know, I've under-eaten by 500 calories, which is cool. The main thing is I've gone out there and I've made the choice that I want and eaten what I want rather than be restricted, all right? So again, accuracy, precision is not the goal. So what do you think about it like a sinking ship in the fog, right? You're not going to see every wave perfectly, but as long as you watch your compass and adjust for the big obstacles, then you're going to stay on course. Step number 3 is you want to train without living in the gym, right? So I've been training for the last, I don't know how long, I think throughout this year has been 8 months. The only time that I've really trained more than 4 days a week was back in sort of February, where I was doing 3 days on, I believe, 1 day off, 2 days on, 1 day off, or 2 days on, 2 days on, 2 days off, something like that. Yeah, something like that. But that was only for like a month. That was only a sort of overreaching phase. The rest of the time it's just been training 4 days a week, and then for like 45 minutes, an hour, and then just getting my steps in, whether I'm building muscle or in a fat loss phase. So you want to focus on stimulation, not exhaustion, right? So I see so many people in the gym that are training for 2 hours a day. I'm like, what the fuck are you doing training 2 hours a day? Like, seriously, man, like, you're not going to build any muscle training 2 hours a day. Whoever you are, maybe if you're like a teenager, like my eldest who's 18, like he's training for 2 hours a day. His program is like 2 hours. Maybe if you're a teenager and you're living at home and you're getting like 9-10 hours sleep, you've got everybody cooking you food. You know, my wife Hiba cooks his meals for him. And you do nothing, you have no responsibilities whatsoever, then yeah, maybe you'll be able to build a better muscle and, you know, and like and be able to do it. But as like a busy business owner with like responsibilities, if you're like in like late 30s, 40s, 50s and beyond, it's impossible. You're not going to be able to do that, because like your body's changed, your body's not as malleable as it was before. Right? Unless you're somebody who's a complete professional, then that's a different story. But like, you've got other stresses in life, so you've got to think of your stress as a bucket of water, right? The more stress that you have, whether it's in the gym or outside the gym, that bucket of water is going to fill up, and eventually it's going to spill. When it spills, it's either going to be an injury or it's going to be some sort of like illness. And I've had that plenty of times before. Like, I'll get to the stage where I would like push so hard, like I'd have to call my central nervous system expert guy to like fix me, because I'll just lock up completely. Like, I can't move. My shoulders would like start to hurt, my neck will start to hurt, my hips will start to lock up. So it's not fun. And you don't need to do that either. Like the people who are training for 2 hours at a time in the gym, they might think they're looking a bit better, but all they're doing really is just adding more stress to their body. They don't have a strategy, they don't have a system. They're just throwing darts aimlessly without really knowing why they're doing what they're doing. Because like, you're not going to build any muscle. You're just going to release more stress. And you if you train for that long, you are going to, if you're training for that long, your intensity is going to go down. There's no doubt about it. You're not training with any intensity. So you might rest 3, 4, 5, 6 minutes between each set to try and shift the same amount of weights that you are doing. There's no way that you can do the same amount with for 2 hours straight if you're natural. Put it this way. I'll go as far as that, right? So 3 to 4 sessions a week without living in the gym, 45 minutes an hour, get in, get out. That's perfect. Cardio, there's no need, unless you enjoy cardio. Cardio is great for cardiovascular health. For fat loss, you don't need it. You don't need it. I'm 11 something percent body fat. I think I'm about 11.7 according to my app. And I haven't done a single bit of cardio. I mean, not a single bit of cardio apart from walking. So that proves that you don't need any cardio. And even then, I've got like another 3 weeks to go with my cut. I'm not going to be doing any cardio apart from my steps. It's just no need. And who has time anyway to just keep going and doing cardio? Like imagine being the hamster wheel on a hamster wheel. My gym has just got they've got 2 new, They've got 2 new Stairmaster machines. And people are just going on them like there's no tomorrow. Like women are going on them to presumably to build their glutes. Like the women that I see, and they've never done any cardio before, but now they're going on them because they think that they're going to build their glutes. The guys are going on them as well, thinking that they're going to build their glutes, but it's just cardio, it doesn't build anything. Okay, so I want you to think of training like sharpening the sword, right? A few precise cuts will cut through. They're going to be enough to cut through anything, and endless hammering just going to dull the edge. Endless hammering will dull the edge and just doesn't, and you're just going to waste time. Moving on to point number 4, which is nutrition. Nutrition flexibility, that's the big one. You want to eat like a CEO first. Structure first, and then fun second. Allow flexibility second. So you're going to have flexibility is the second, your structure first. And here is what I mean by that. So protein, veggies, carbs, and then fats in that order. Okay, because your fats are going to carry the most amount of calories. You don't need a lot of fats for your hormones. If you're carrying a lot of fat already, you don't need a lot of fats. If you fancy more fat than carbs, then that's totally cool, but just understand that you're going to find it very hard probably to get really, really, really lean, like 6-pack level. And you're going to look a lot smaller as well if you're going to cut fats right down. If you're going to have fats up and then cut the carbs right down. Okay, so we talked about flexibility. Use your social meals strategically. Don't avoid them. Don't cut them out completely. That includes alcohol as well. Use them strategically. Right? There are ways and means, again, which we'll talk about in different episodes about how to indulge with alcohol and sort of like have meals. But for this episode, for the purpose of this episode, plan your meals ahead of time. Get your VA, not VA, your secretary rather, VA, or VA if you're an entrepreneur, like working from home. Get your secretary to plan your social event. So if you're going out entertaining a client or a prospective client, or you're going out with family, make sure you plan it ahead of time. You know where you're going, you know when you're going, so that then we talked about that flexibility, that you can manage your meals ahead of time, and that way you're prepared, right? And the worst thing to do is when you go into a restaurant and you're not prepared, it's like a sudden, somebody just invites you out, which is cool if it happens now and again, right? We get invited out plenty of times in Marbella when we go. All of a sudden, like somebody will call at 10 o'clock at night, they're like, oh, do you want to go to this restaurant? I'm like, I'm usually in bed at 10 o'clock in the UK, but like, okay, whatever. So then you just like have to make do with what you can, all right? But generally, you want to make sure that you plan ahead of time. So you want to think of your diet as the boardroom, right? As the boardroom strategy. So the foundation is non-negotiable. The foundation is non-negotiable, but the meeting room can flex without derailing the whole company. And finally, mindset shift. Right? This is one of the most important ones, if not the most important. So your abs are a side effect of mastery. They are a side effect of mastery, not punishment. So you don't need to punish yourself. Maybe if this was your full-time job, and I'm not looking at somebody like me, because although I like to be lean and have abs, I have no inclination to be at 5-6% or even lower body fat like those pro bodybuilders do. That's a completely different level, and it's not something that I actually want to be in because it just means that you have no life, right? And a lot of these bodybuilders, pro bodybuilders, actually have no life, right? They're actually not happy. They're eating chicken and broccoli with every meal. They're eating out of Tupperwares. As a CEO, you are no longer the 16-year-old guy that comes in and eats out of Tupperwares and chicken and broccoli, right? You don't do that. I want you to stop thinking that, oh, I'll get shredded when I have time, right? You're never going to have the right time. Life is never going to bend over for you. Life is not going to stop. The train is not going to stop and get you to come on, all right? Stop for your life and only for you. It's going to carry on. If you're ready, if you're on the platform, you're going to jump in. If you're not, it's going to go without you. Same with the flight. You're late to your gate, the flight is going to go. You're never going to be without, you're not going to stop just for you. Okay, so just make do with whatever you have. Make the time. You have the time. Everybody has the time. Again, I've outlined some strategies here that you that you can use to get to see your abs. So you need to focus on control, not perfection. Again, precision is not the goal. Control is. So we don't want to be tracking every single calorie that goes into our mouth or obsessing over every single calorie. We need to have control. Control what we can, cope with what we can't. And that's a great metaphor. So an analogy that I like to use is you don't become a CEO by doing more hours. You become one by making every hour work. So make your abs work for you. Your abs work the same way. Okay? You don't need to keep to do more and more and more and more. Minimalist approach is best. Okay? If this episode hits home, then share it with another man who's too comfortable, because steel sharpens steel, or iron sharpens iron. That's all I got for now. Thanks for listening, and I'll speak to you on the next episode.